AK Interactive has just released their new quick markers, and today I'm going to test them for you. We've got 34 brush pens here, all filled with AK Interactive QuickGen paints. Not every QuickGen color is included, but we still have a solid selection of different shades. I'll be testing them on these printed Space Marine heads, which even have the names printed on them. Big thanks to IllusionFX for providing these. They've all been primed white. So here are the pens. They've got a cap on the back that you can remove. That's where I'll place my color swatches, so I can easily identify them and show them clearly to you. First, you shake the pen. As you can see, it has a white brush tip, which is perfectly fine for painting. Today I'm not painting a full miniature, I'm just showcasing the colors. You need to pump the back of the pen a bit and until some paint flows into the brush. Then you can load the tip and start testing right away. Let's begin with our first test, Space Magenta. And this is how it looks once dried. Next I move on to the purple tones. Here we have Necromancer Purple, a nice medium purple. Then a Demon Purple, which is a bit warmer. So we've got a cool purple, a warm purple and a magenta tone. Next up are the yellows, space yellow, warm yellow and a slightly greenish vile yellow. I'll start with warm yellow. This is actually my favorite of the yellows from the set. It spreads well and has great contrast. Here is space yellow, which I find a bit too thin and flat, more tone on tone. But next, vile yellow is a nice, slightly greenish shade. Great for anything warpstone related. I'll definitely be using that. Now onto the greens, ranging from cool greens to lighter and warmer tones. We start with jade green, which leans slightly towards turquoise. Next is Orc Flesh, a rich, juicy green. Then Spectral Green, which, like Space Yellow, is quite thin. And finally we have a Vivid Green, a very saturated, slightly cool green. I really like this one. And here are all four greens side by side. Now for the blues, light blue, greenish blue and a classic space blue. We start with ice blue, very nice light blue. Then power blue or classic space marine blue. It spreads very well and has great contrast. Next is a turquoise that leans slightly green, followed by a more blue-toned turquoise. And here are the four standard blues, although there are one or two more later. Now onto the reds, starting with a classic orange. There's only one orange in the range, but that's enough in my opinion. So I mixed these two up earlier. This is Space Red and not Infernal Red. I find Space Red a bit too thin, while Infernal Red is one of my favorites. A really rich, saturated red. And here are the three reds. Personally, I think this area could use a bit more variety. 3 reds feel a bit limited. Next are the whites and grays. This one is called Gray Shadow, which I think works well for pre-shading or highlighting. Then we have a classic white that slightly grays things down and adds depth. Great for highlights. And finally, a strong gray, a darker gray that's also very useful. Black contrast paints are always tricky for me. This one turned out a bit patchy and slightly gray, but still usable. And here are all the white and gray tones together. Now to something very important in fantasy miniature painting, browns. I've got 5 here. Starting with the classic leather tone, looks very convincing. Then light leather, a warmer version, great for variation. Next is a bone color, slightly darker than what other brands offer, but still very useful. Then a bright orange, very saturated brown, which works well as a substitute for gold. And finally a darker wood-like brown, simply called wood. And here are all the browns side by side. A very nice collection, I think. And now for some special colors. Skin tones and a dirty green. Starting with a dirty green, was a bit dried out but still usable. It's called putrid white. Next, a classic Caucasian skin tone called human flesh, slightly darker than comparable brands. We also have a fantasy vampire flesh, slightly purplish tone, and reddish flesh, which really is good for warmer skin tones. And here are all the flesh tones together with the putrid white. Finally, a few more special colors, 2 additional blues and some earthy tones. There's a wolf blue gray, great for space wolves, quite light but very nice. Then night blue, a deep, rich blue, which is also very usable. We also have desert sand, a sandy brown-green tone. And finally, leaf green, a more earthy green. And here they are all together. So that was my full test of the new AK QuickGen Markers. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a wide range of colors and a solid selection overall. I hope the set gets expanded in the future. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling me your favorite color. I'll definitely be doing more practical tests soon to show how these paints perform in real use. So see you next time.